Well, hey guys, we're back and we're doing a little jig tying video. Now our lakes are froze up, so I mean they're ice. I posted a short video today showing you our local reservoir, and it's iced almost all the way across. And I decided I'd just come home and do a little jig tying and talk about the weather a little bit, and talk about these crappie. And I got to show you a jig. Just before this ice hit, I went out there in the cold reservoir and started fishing with this little tiny jig, and it kicked butt. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty awesome. Here's some of my jigs that I tie right here. These are the tiny jigs that I've tied. Let me get a little closer there. I don't know if you can see them or not. Anyway, we got a pretty good selection of them. Like I said, I've been tying these things for about a year, so I have a good selection of small ones. I have a pretty good selection of the bigger size jigs, and I use a lot of them in the boat, and I use a lot of Mr. James's too. Now, I was always pretty decent at tying these jigs, but I couldn't. Once I started using them, the fish was tearing them apart. So Mr. James, he showed me a little trick. He said, get you some head cement, and he told me how to apply it and stuff. And to be honest, I get a little crazy with it, but it works. Nothing tears my jigs apart no more, and I can catch a lot of fish on them. But I take this right here is what I've been using mostly. Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails. You can get this even at the Family Dollar, guys, in the nail polish area. And I just put a little bit, coat a little bit right there. I get me some. Right now I want to use a hot pink. I use different color threads too, guys, so there's different strengths and different sizes and all that. Get you a few rings started on there. I don't get crazy with the thread. Since I use that Sally Hansen, I don't have to unless I want to build it up thicker for the body. I just take it easy with my threads. So I mean, I put a good coat on there, but I'm not going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I just get what I need to get going right there. I'm about even with the tip, the hook point right there. That's far enough for me. Now I want to take this little gray squirrel tail, and I'll look at it, and I'll try to find me a little piece that has some white in there. Little place right there. That looks pretty awesome right there. So I might take just a little bit of that, and then I'll trim that off. Pretty good little piece. Put that to the side. Now I'm going to do a little measurement. Now this is a full-size jig right here I'm using. This is a 30-second jig head with a size 2 hook, and I'm just gonna, I want this thing to come about half the distance of the hook, so I'm going to probably stop it about right there. Now I might want to put a little Sally Hansen's on there again, because I like to use this stuff, because then I don't have to worry about nothing moving on me. I'll set that right where I want it, kind of roll it and hold it, and then snug the thread, keep her kind of pressured a little bit until she gets a hanging on there real good. Now I'm about where the tip is. That's as far as I want to go back. I'll take this and pull it up, unless you want your jig to be thick. If you want a nice fat jig, you might want to leave that in there, but other than that, I'll take and trim it off, get rid of that extra stuff right there. Okay, now I got me some squirrel tail on there. So now what I want to do is throw a little bit of this white or pink. I'm not sure. It's got a pink head. I would like to have a little pink back there. I think I'm going to use this. Check this out, guys. That's an ostrich feather. Awesome. Look at this. Look at the little different grooves it has in it. It's pretty awesome. I like this stuff. It's pretty, but it's also pretty awesome to use. Get you about however much you think you might need. I think I'll go with that right there, about 1/4 of an inch, and I'll trim that off. And then I'm going to take this ostrich feather, and what's cool about this ostrich feather, it flares out good when it's dry, so you ain't got to worry about pinching it together like all crazy and then fluffing it out, because it automatically fluffs out. Now I want to get up here to my end of my squirrel tail, probably going to be about right in there. I'll let a couple of them dangle behind it, but not much. And I'll tack that a little bit. A few good tight ones. There we go. Pull all this up and trim it off. And there we go. Now I might dab just, not too much, just a tiny bit of this on there again. because I need to go back a little bit further, like that, and then come back forward. Like I said, I don't get too crazy on this stuff. I keep it about where I want it right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw a little flash in there. So I think I had a little piece of that pink flash right here somewhere. Well, yeah, here's a whole bag of it. I'll get one of these little tinsel flash, and we'll pull one out of there. And I'll kind of measure it, you know, I'll probably want it to go past there a little bit where I'm going to be tying it. I'll fold 3 of them. There's one, just I make a bow right there and hold it. That's one, and there's the other one. Trim that off a little bit. See that loop? Trim, trim. Now I got 3 sticks. And I'm not real picky about putting one here and putting one there. I usually just set them in the middle, past the spot, just about like that, and then I'll just do like a couple rows around it, kind of maybe 3, and then I start moving this around a little bit. Want that one over there, this one right there, this one here, and then I kind of just pull them back and roll it in there. Okay, get it where I want it, right there. Get that excess out of there. We should be pretty good on where we got it now. Now we're pretty well getting close to done. But I mean, I got a couple more things to do, but I'm going to show you a little bit more of this stuff. Get a pretty good piece right there. We're going with this awesome, this is like a sparkling cactus chenille. See that glue? Just go ahead and tab it in there with it. It ain't gonna matter on that first piece. The more glue the better for me. I just had trouble keeping them fish from tearing my jig up, and I'd put Mr. James's lure on there and it would not tear it up. 40 crappie later and I'm still using the same lure. They knocked the paint off the head, but they did not tear the lure up, and he finally told me the secret that I was needing to use. Anyway guys, I'm getting all the way down to the head. Do a pause right there. Now I'll show you a little trick. Before I got this rotary vise, I got this rotary vise for Christmas, my wife. Anyway, before I got this rotary device, this is how I did it. I would just keep it kind of snug and short, and I would just kind of keep a little tension there, and I go around it just like that. Pretty simple, but it ain't as simple as the rotary vise. So that's what I got the rotary vise for, so we're going to use it. You can keep the snug real easy and just roll it like this. Keep rolling it. And you know I got plenty of that hard as nails on there, so it's going to hang in there good. And once you get all the way to the head, then you want to kind of snug your line up, make your loop, and lock that in. So now we got that locked. We'll do a couple wraps in the front, one in the back, a couple wraps in the front, one in the back, and then I'll do about 2 or 3 more in the front. And now I'm going to trim this chenille, get it out of the way, and then I'll show you guys how I tie it, because I actually have one of these. I know you guys, this is that whip tool that everybody uses. I hadn't really practiced that too much, so I'm going to show you how I do it normally, and you can do this at home if you don't know how to do that whip tool. Just take 2 fingers and just wrap around your fingers and twist. Loop across your jig head, pull that slack. Kind of, there it is. And then do it again. Get 2 fingers, twist, pull it around there. This old line is fraying on me. Do it 3 times. And I rock my finger back and forth to make sure each knot is tight, and then I'm going to trim that little bit, and we're pretty well done. Now I have an option of just putting some more of this over the head to clear it, but instead of doing that right now, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to take some, this is how I make my eyes, guys, nail polish. So I spend a little time in the fingernail polish area. I get this hard as nails, and then I'll pick out some cool colors like a metallic blue and a metallic red just to do my eyeballs. So I'm going to put these let's see if I can get this on here. We're going to just take this right here And however big you want that eyeball, you just got to be real careful. Get you a little bubble on there, but be careful, don't let it drip. And you just want to touch, just like that. Now look at that eyeball. Do the same thing, just touch. See there, just kind of even them out. They don't have to be perfect. Get them close and let that dry. Now all I have to do is let that dry and then put a good coating of this and let this right here get on my thread that I tied, that hard as a nail. So you kind of dab it until you get a little bit on that thread and your jig's ready to go, guys. Now excuse me, I didn't trim this yet, so almost ready to go. You want these just a little bit longer than your feathers, just about like that. Now there it is, awesome little jig. That's a full-size jig with a little bit of squirrel tail in there. It's going to be really eye-catching to them crappie right there, guys. Anyway, I'm going to show you a few other jigs that I have tied. So gold is pretty awesome, but look at this little tiny jig. These are jigs that I use for searching for crappie in new spots. Look at that tiny jig right there, little squirrel tail, pink with a fox squirrel tail, and we got some green ones and pinks. There's one with a lot of flash, pretty awesome little jig there. And here's a really light squirrel tail jig. We got squirrel tail, a little bit of flash, pink head, and green green chartreuse body. And of course we got this black jig, more like fur brim popper or something. That's a yellow chartreuse, and this is a size 8 hook, guys, little bitty jig. But now let me show you some other stuff right here. Some of these bigger boys. These are ones that I've actually been having success on. This one right here is a pretty awesome jig, and it's a pretty big jig, size 2 hook, 30 seconds. You can see my feather. I got a squirrel tail there, got some green Malibu, pink body, and a emerald green head with some red eyes. Of course, that red eyes is from the fingernail polish. There's a pink, another one that's similar. And here's a white, red, and green that I made. A little bit of red flash in there. And got some skinny jigs. I like to make skinny jigs and thick ones. So that red one I showed you, but here, here's a pink, and this is with that ostrich feather. It's a nice pink one. A little bit of gold body, a little skinny jig. Got another one right beside it. Let me get that one. Little pink chartreuse, little head on there. And then I got this red one, red and gold. Silver eyes. I used silver metallic nail polish for the eyes on that one. And then I got to show you, pick out that one that I took out catching all them fish. Did I show you that already? I don't think I did, but I'm fixing to. It's awesome. I got 2 of them in here if I can. Got so many pretty colors, and I call that thing Bubblicious because it's so awesome of a color. There's one of them right there. That one's a little different than the one I've been using, but this is one of them. That's my little Bubblicious jig right there, guys. And I'm talking tiny, number 8 size hook, 64th ounce, with that cactus chenille pink. Got a pink head, but that pink head's been painted with some glow pinkish orange, so it kind of makes it change a little bit. And then of course we got white marabou and pink, light pink marabou, and I got some pink and green flash in there. But ain't that an awesome little jig, guys? Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys watching, and I might do a couple more of these. I'm just kind of showing y'all a little bit of what I do. I'll get back on here and we'll do some more tying from start to finish and show you how I do it. Maybe you guys want to try some of my secrets, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you want your jigs to hold up, don't be shy. use some of this stuff right there. I've caught tons of crappie and I never have jig problems. The only thing that I have problems with, and it's probably because I don't have a toaster oven yet, is the crappie will actually chip the paint on my heads of my jigs occasionally. So that's the only issue I'm running into right now. But they'll chip some of this green off of there, and I can touch them up sometimes, and I'll try to touch them up with different things, nail polish and stuff. But there's that's got a little bit of squirrel tail in there. A lot of green marabou and some silver flash on that one. Anyway guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Till next time, later. Well guys, I wanted to show you my rig that I'm converted into a crappie rig. So this thing had silver blades on it, and I put gold willow leaves all the way around it. It's got 5 gold willow leaves, size 2 blades, and there's one that, check out this, I added this to the bottom so to actually have another group of fish, another group of bait. So you got your gold blade in there, and then you have 3 small minnows on top and 1 pretty good size one on the bottom. And then I got my crappie jigs, hand tieds right there, and just some old hand ties I had, and then I got gold blades up here on top. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with these right here. Let me see if I can find a package of them. I'm going to start out with these Berkeley Gulp minnows right here, 2.5 inch minnows, and these are Pirate Shiner. It says minnow Pirate Shiners. But anyway guys, we're going to use this size right here. We're just going to stick them on there because they got scent. And also I'm going to try to remember to take my spray with me. I got some Yum shad scent, and you know, I don't really use that a whole lot. I'd rather use a light minnow or a crappie bite, but for a rig like this I can cover it pretty good with this big bottle of spray and get my human scent off there and get that fishy scent smell on there that they like. But this ought to be an awesome little throw. I'm gonna go throw it right in the middle. Like if I go to an oxbow, it's going right down the middle of the oxbow, and I may run it close to the edge of the debris field and see what happens. But I'm gonna try it out. I think it'd be awesome to catch some crappie on it. Anyway, we'll see what we can do with it. Okay guys, I thought I'd jump back in here and show you me coating this this head. I get me a bubble on there pretty good, and then I'm gonna let that bubble just roll around the head and just kind of wipe it off as it goes. Get on that thread just a little bit, and kaboom, she's ready to go. Just gotta dry a little bit first, but she'll be ready shortly.